The journey to a clutter-free life and achieving personal goals is often intertwined because both of them require a mindful approach and realistic strategies to get them done. Studies have shown that people who regularly declutter their spaces experience a 20% reduction in stress. Now, I have absolutely no idea how they measure that, but I'm all for reducing stress. In this video today, we will explore how setting realistic goals can lead to successful decluttering and overall life improvement. And who doesn't want their life to be improved, right? Setting realistic goals is crucial for both decluttering and personal achievement. Starting with overly ambitious goals can be overwhelming and may lead to giving up prematurely. Instead, focusing on just one area at a time makes the process more manageable and achievable. For example, I'm going to declutter my entire house this weekend. May be admirable as a goal, and take it from someone with just a little bit of experience here, it is totally unrealistic. And if that is your goal, I can almost guarantee that you're going to stop after about 3 hours, throw your hands up in the air, maybe cuss a little into the great expanse of space, and just quit. But a more realistic goal would be something like, I'm going to take the weekend and declutter my bathroom. Now, trust me, it may sound really small, but the feelings of accomplishment will be huge. Setting small, achievable goals is key to building momentum and motivation in decluttering. When you accomplish these smaller objectives, you experience a sense of success that encourages you to continue. And this approach helps in reducing your stress and anxiety associated with larger, seemingly insurmountable goals. Starting small can help you feel joy in the process. And things are just easier and more accessible. And trust me, it isn't the end result that will keep you going. It's the feeling you get in the process. Starting small can help you stay committed to your ultimate objective, which is to live in a space that's free of distractions and brings peace to your life. Sounds pretty good. This is why I have emphasized that instead of aiming to declutter your entire home in a weekend, start with a single drawer or a single closet. Take the messiest, most frustrating drawer in your kitchen. You know the one I'm talking about. It's the one where you want to just throw stuff onto the floor because it is so packed with crap that you can't find what you're looking for, even if what you're looking for is actually in the drawer. Declutter that over the weekend. And then pat yourself on the back. This smaller goal is more attainable and provides immediate satisfaction when you finally finish it. One of the biggest hurdles in decluttering is dealing with emotional attachment to objects. We've talked about sentimental items a lot. They can hold us back from letting go, making the decluttering process challenging. So let me share a story with you that might help you understand why it's okay to lay down the sentimental attachment to most things in your house. A newly ordained pastor was appointed to a country church where the former pastor, who had been there for 30 years, had recently retired. And it was a quaint old church with, wooden pews and radiator heat. And the new pastor was filled with both excitement and trepidation. In this denomination, it was common practice to serve communion every Sunday. And the new pastor just felt like something wasn't sitting well with his parishioners during communion. He couldn't quite put his finger on it. So after the most recent service, he took one of his deacons aside and asked what might be the problem. The deacon said, "Look, we know you're new, and maybe you do things differently. But our old pastor always went over to the side of the stage and lightly touched the radiator before he started communion. It's part of the process that, honestly, we just miss. Now, bewildered, the new pastor thought long and hard about why touching the radiator would be theologically important to serving communion. So on a Tuesday morning, he drove 75 miles to the town where the retired pastor now lived, and he asked him. And the retired pastor broke out into a loud and boisterous laugh. And now the new pastor was even more bewildered than before. And the retired pastor explained, many years ago, I was having a problem with static electricity during communion. You see where this is going, don't you? People would come forward and get a small shock from our first contact. And I realized that going over and touching the radiator expelled the static electricity, and things went very smoothly for the remaining years that I was there. What had been meant to simply be a means to an end had become such an integral part of the spirituality of communion that the parishioners simply could not move on. And our sentimental attachment to most things really is much the same. We hang on to things from our parents or our grandparents that, honestly, if we could ask them today, they would probably say, I wasn't really fond of the thing to begin with. If I could have afforded to replace it, I would have. In addition to sentimental attachments, there are several myths that can hinder the decluttering process. So let's address some of those common misconceptions. We often say to ourselves, I can't get rid of this because I may need it someday. Now be honest with yourself about the likelihood of future use. Is someday really equal to often? Or is it even equal to ever? It's just too valuable to throw away. I spent too much money on this thing. So consider selling or donating items that no longer serve you. Just because you paid a lot for it doesn't mean you have to hang on to it. Trust me, I know. But you don't understand. It was a gift. Gifts don't have to stay if they don't align with your needs or your values. And if the person who gave you the gift is going to judge you because you got rid of it, then it really wasn't a gift to begin with. It was an obligation to look after something they wanted for themselves. I simply don't have time to declutter. Okay. Start with small, manageable sessions rather than trying to do everything at once. Sam, over at her Simply Clutter Free channel, has begun a new challenge for 2025. Just choose 5 items today. 5. That's it. Then choose 5 items tomorrow and another 5 the next day. But don't kid yourself. You definitely have the time. Implementing effective tools and strategies can make the decluttering process more efficient and sustainable. One of them that we've talked about on this channel is the 1 in, 1 out rule. And this rule helps maintain balance in your possessions. When you bring a new item into your home, remove one similar item from your home. And the practice prevents accumulation and encourages thoughtful consumption. I'm practicing this idea, for instance, with my clothing. If I want a new shirt, I decide which shirt I'm giving up, and it just becomes easier to do with time. And then there's the 3-box method we talked about in a previous video, a long time ago. Categorize items into 3 boxes. 1 box is set aside for things that you definitely want to donate, another for things that you definitely want to sell, and another for things that you just aren't sure about yet. Give yourself some time to think about them before deciding their fate. And if, after 30 days, you haven't really missed them, maybe it's okay to move them into one of those other boxes. Achieving a clutter-free space is only half the battle, of course, because maintaining it is equally important. So develop a routine. Establish a regular decluttering routine that could be maybe a weekly reset of your home or a monthly review of specific areas. Again, I've talked about this on this channel for myself. I have a day on my calendar that I specifically set aside to go back and review my bathroom. Another day to review my bedroom. Another one for this room. And then you might want to try to identify clutter triggers. Recognize what causes clutter accumulation in your life. It could be as simple as, or as difficult as, impulsive shopping. Before bringing new items into your home, ask yourself, do I need this? Practice a mindful consumption. Where am I going to store it? Will it add any value to my life? And one way to really decide a new object's value is to write it down on a sheet of paper with the price and the date that you wrote it down. Tape it to your refrigerator or the back of your bedroom door and wait 30 days. If you still think you need it at the end of 30 days, go buy it. But if during those 30 days you come across something else you think you want, you have to cross the first item off the list and add the new item and the date and start again. And maybe you just practice this for anything that costs more than $100 or more than $500 or whatever your budget allows. This mindful approach helps prevent unnecessary accumulation of your possessions. So by setting realistic goals and addressing emotional attachments and debunking decluttering myths and implementing effective strategies, you can create and maintain a clutter-free environment. Remember, the process is ongoing, always, and extremely personal to you. Be patient with yourself and celebrate the small victories along the way. Let me know in the comments if any of this has resonated with you or if you have maybe a totally different approach that works for you. Our community of viewers will be happy to see new ideas. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.